All right, guys. Today I figured out my gauge cluster lights weren't working when I first got the car. Um, I'm not even gonna lie. I kind of forgot what I did to get them. Oh, found out the dimmer switch was bad. Apparently, it's a real common issue on these cars. Um, I think the switch is kind of expensive, and for the time being, I went ahead and just jumpered the wires together. There's three of them, and you got to jumper two of them together. I went ahead and jumpered them for now, which on these older Hondas, I used to always like run the dimmer switch at full power anyway. So I might just end up leaving it that way. For now, it's just a little jumper wire in there. I may end up like soldering it in there. That way, it's just always full power. Which I did go ahead. The other night, there's one big bulb in these clusters. I think it's like a 194 bulb, if I'm not mistaken. I had an LED one in my toolbox. I went ahead and threw that in there, and it lit up like this half of the cluster, or this half of the tack. And I don't know if you can see the light difference. Let me try to get in closer there. If you see like the one half of the speedo on the left side is like a real bright, like clean looking white, and then this side over here is like it's real dull and like it's barely even lit up. And I went on Amazon and I bought a little package, and it came with the illumination bulbs for it. And I think these big ones, that's what I already did replace. Which it kind of looks like I went ahead just to test them to make sure before starting the video. I stuck one of the smaller ones in over here, and it looks like it's actually slightly brighter than the one that I stuck in there, because pretty much, only half of the tack was lit up, and now like the 1 and 2 is real bright white. Like I said, I don't know how well you all can actually see this in the video, but 1 and 2 is a brighter white than like 3 over. And like I said, that was that bulb that I stuck in there the other night just to see if an LED was gonna make a difference. And definitely it gives it a whole lot cleaner look. But let me put the camera down here real quick. I just want to show you guys, you really only have to to test everything out, there's only one connector you got to plug back in while you're testing everything, and it's this connector here, which also I'm gonna try to show you guys also on here. Let me turn this light on real quick. That may be making it too bright. Yeah, that's trying to see if you all can see the color difference or not. Let me put this here. This may help. I'm not sure how well you guys can see it, but like right here, this is a brown socket, and then if you look real closely, like this little cluster of 5 right here, these are black sockets, just like this cluster here. And then there is a couple like unused holes, but also from what I was noticing, like this is that big main bulb that I was telling you guys about that lit up like half of the tack and half of the speedo, which actually I can just twist it out and show you guys real quick. Like I said, that was the LED that I went ahead and stuck in there. I'm probably just going to leave it in there for the time being because I know it's working. And one thing I learned the hard way a few years back is when you're messing with LEDs, a lot of times they won't light up when you first put them in. One of the tricks is to pull it back out and remember which way you stuck it in and just turn it 180 degrees, completely opposite of how you stuck it in there, and go the other way, which I ended up having to do it on this one. So far, this is the only one I've replaced on the new kit of bulbs I got. And I put the bulb in the socket, twisted it in there. It didn't light up. So then what I tried was trying to clock this piece 180, because this socket, when you twist it in and out, it'll go two different ways. So I thought maybe by just spinning this 180 it would fix it, but it still didn't light up. I had to take it out, flip the bulb around 180 degrees in the socket, and then when I twisted it back in there, it still wasn't lit up. So I had to twist this again 180 degrees. So I'm not 100% for sure, but basically there would be 4 different configurations of the way the bulb would go in and the way the socket would go. And it was literally the last way I had it in there is what made it light up. But back to what I was saying about the sockets that are brown, I'm pretty sure those are like the backlights for it. And also that 6.5, I'm not sure this one you might be able to read better. The 6.5 and then the ILL, I'm assuming that stands for illumination. Cause like that's a brown socket. This one says 6.5 here. That's a brown socket. And then, the big one's brown. This one's brown. I believe that one, it's hard for me to even tell, but that one's brown. Which this one's gray up here. Maybe it had been changed one time before. I'm not fully sure, but it also has 6.5. And then when I was ordering the bulbs, I believe like that's just what the bulb is called, is a 6.5, which apparently that bulb goes by a whole bunch of different like part numbers and stuff. And then one last thing too, on the front of the cluster, that big bulb that I replaced, let me flip it around here real quick. So the big bulb that I replaced, it has these wires right here, which I tried to route it back, and these wires were just kind of loose, laying wherever. If you follow it from that socket up, it runs to the front of the cluster. And I diagnosed this last night. I tried to send power and ground. There's a bulb here that is connected to those wires, and then the board runs across, and then I'm not sure how well you see this, but there's a socket here that has a bulb in it as well. And I think those just shoot down towards the cluster to basically just help light everything up. So I'm gonna try to replace those also. But let me end it here for a second, and that way I can free up both hands, and then I'll swap out everything I can, and then I'll shoot another video real quick and show you the outcome of how everything turned out. But hang with me, guys. I'll be right back.